World War III underway, and Signalgate. It's 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV. 5 things you need to know in about 10 minutes for Monday, March 31st, 2025. I'm Derek Gilbert. Item number 5 today, World War III. Now, this doesn't come as any surprise to you if you've been watching this program for any length of time. If you've been paying attention to the news and kind of reading between the lines, you know that the United States, NATO, have been directly involved in the war between Ukraine and Russia for quite some time. Well, on Sunday, the New York Times publicly admitted it, publishing what they're calling a shocking report on the secret history of America's role in this ongoing war. Again, it's secret only if you've not been paying attention, and it's not secret if you actually have been and you've got a brain. This story is about 3 years too late, but thankfully, even the New York Times now publicly admitting that the Biden administration was far more involved in that ongoing conflict than has been previously publicly admitted by official sources. Bear in mind, the New York Times, like the Washington Post, is one of the official organs for communications outlets for the deep state. The report makes clear that U.S. commanders were interwoven into the Ukrainian operations much more than was publicly admitted, to the point of shocking some of our NATO allies. In essence, many of the counter-Russia operations on the ground in Ukraine were run by U.S. officials from a U.S. military base in Wiesbaden, Germany. The bottom line here, there's a lot in this report. It's rather lengthy, but to sum up, the bottom line here is that pretty much as we've suspected and have been reporting from time to time, the United States has been directly involved in the war between Ukraine and Russia, to the point where U.S. officials were essentially telling Ukraine what they could and could not do on the battlefield, giving Ukraine, as we told you several weeks ago, the codes needed to target specific military and civilian targets deep inside Russia with HIMARS and ATACMS missiles. And the Biden administration, essentially, according to the New York Times article, makes it appear as though the Biden administration pretty much gave Volodymyr Zelensky anything he wanted, which may be why Zelensky felt okay coming into the White House and directly contradicting President Trump and saying, no, we're not talking peace here. Well, the Russians have known this, and they've been saying this from the start, that NATO and the U.S. have been directly involved as co-belligerents in this war. But anyone in the United States who said so was criticized as Putin's puppet. Vladimir Putin, characterized in the media as a psychotic mass murderer, a thug. Now, with the New York Times basically admitting that the Biden administration and his deep state handlers were running the war for Ukraine, you got to wonder, how patient is Vladimir Putin? And should we be thankful that even a more hardline commander or leader is not sitting in Putin's chair inside the Kremlin? Topic number 4, Signalgate. This is the so-called scandal that took place using the Signal messaging app by White House officials to discuss military action against Yemen. Things are playing out as we expected. The Atlantic published the full sequence of texts. This was, again, Vice President Vance, Defense Secretary Hegseth, the National Security Advisor Mike Walz. The Atlantic characterized this editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, who somehow got onto this chat as the war plans. Turns out there weren't any specifics. As CNN described it, these texts have sparked horror and alarm. Their words, horror and alarm. Again, this is a tempest in a teapot, but they're trying to use it to get Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth out of office, possibly National Security Advisor Mike Walz as well. Walz is taking responsibility for adding Goldberg to the chat, but it seems more plausible to me that since Signal was included on the official government phone Walz was given, preloaded by tech expert from the CIA, that either Walz is the mole trying to get Hegseth out because the deep state embedded in the Pentagon doesn't want Hegseth reforming the way they do things, or somebody inside the intelligence community is trying to torpedo both Walz and Hegseth. And this is why we're seeing calls in the media and from Democrats for them to step down or to be investigated and then possibly impeached. We've seen this movie before. Topic number 3, JFK. Florida Representative Anna Paulina Luna claimed on Friday that NBC News possesses film evidence showing that Lee Harvey Oswald could not possibly have killed President John F. Kennedy, and she is now working to obtain that film. Luna is chairwoman of a task force on the declassification of federal secrets. This was a subcommittee created by the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform in the wake of President Trump's executive orders demanding the release of the documents connected to the JFK, RFK assassinations, Martin Luther King Jr. assassinations. And on Friday evening, Luna told Jesse Waters of Fox News that the task force is holding a hearing tomorrow, Tuesday, on the tens of thousands of documents that have been released. And then she dropped the bombshell, quote, "It was made aware to me this evening that NBC actually has a video that's never been seen before. We're actually going to be sending a letter requesting that from NBC because it allegedly shows Oswald near the vehicle when the assassination took place, which means he couldn't have been the shooter," end quote. Now, this may be the image that you see on the screen behind me, the picture, which official investigators identified as a colleague of Oswald at the Texas Book Depository, a man named Billy Lovelady. I don't know, sure looks like Oswald to me, but it's kind of low res, so how can you know for sure? Luna also said, by the way, that film director Oliver Stone, who directed that 1991 movie JFK, has seen the film, seen a secondary copy of it. This is very interesting on a couple of levels. Number one, how did NBC get this film? Secondly, why have they been holding on to it for 60 years? We hope there will be more information to come. Topic number 2, the CIA and the ARCs. ARCs, plural. Told you last week about how the CIA used a remote viewer number 32 back in 1988 to try to locate the Ark of the Covenant. Didn't describe it the way the Bible describes it. Said it was a 6-winged seraphim. There were 6-winged seraphim on top of the Ark instead of the 4-winged cherubim. And our Jewish friends tell us the actual correct pronunciation is cherubim. Anyway, the CIA apparently also spent a lot of time and effort trying to find Noah's Ark. So you got the older Ark and then the newer Ark. So the report declassified about 25 years ago on Noah's Ark said that the CIA has been looking at the Darupanar site. That's named for the Turkish army captain who filmed at this site, took the first images of it back in 1959 for NATO. But the CIA reportedly was looking at this site even as early as 1957. Now, friends of ours, including Dr. Rick Renner, recent guest on Skywatch TV, has been to this site. Friends of ours planning to go to this site in June invited us, but sadly because of my staff, we had to decline that opportunity. But there is evidence that this could in fact be it. Now, there are other very respected Christian creationists who disagree. Geologists who say, nope, this is just a natural rock formation. Doesn't change my faith one way or the other, but it is rather interesting that the CIA actually dispatched a U-2 spy plane to take images of this. Why was the CIA interested in Noah's Ark? Why was the CIA interested in the Ark of the Covenant? It's almost as though there's a secret division inside the United States government trying to weaponize the supernatural. And actually, if you are familiar with the book and the film, The Men Who Stare at Goats, the film played for laughs, sadly, because it's not funny at all. The United States government has been trying to weaponize the occult and using taxpayer dollars to do it for a very long time. Coming up, the Democrats double down. I'll explain next on 5 and 10.
You can support the ministry of Skywatch TV and our continued efforts to share the gospel of Jesus Christ throughout the 4 corners of the world and receive your very own copy of this urgent new work when you order They Lied to You About the Rapture special offer. Not only does this incredible opportunity include Bishop Alan DiDio's new book, They Lied to You About the Rapture, How to Prepare for What's Coming, but it also includes the best-selling book, Antichrist, and the final solution, the chronology of the future finally unveiled by the late Dr. Thomas Horn and Terry James. This incredible book details the rise of the Antichrist along with key biblical events, including the signing of a peace treaty with Israel, the construction of a third temple, and the unfolding of the seals, trumpets, and bowls from Revelation. This masterpiece also unveils the final solution, involving the return of the Nephilim giants, the Battle of Armageddon, the truth about heaven, hell, and your destiny in the coming days. But that's not all. You'll also receive Terry James' best-selling book, Nearing Midnight, as it was in the days of Lot, that pinpoints all the biblical signs leading to the true countdown to humanity's end, and the blessed hope of Christ's imminent return. Sold separately, these items hold a retail value of $60. Yours now for your donation of only $45, which includes free shipping to all U.S. orders. You can scan the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for They Lied to You About the Rapture special offer now.
Item number one today, the Democrats just can't admit why they lost last year. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz explained why Democrats lost the last election. Quote, "Our strength is our diversity. We've been talking about this for years as a country of immigrants, and we let them define the issue on immigration, and we let them define the issue on DEI, and we let them define what woke is. We got ourselves in this mess because we weren't bold enough to say you're bleep right, that we're proud of these policies, we're going to put them in, and we're going to execute them," end quote. In other words, in Walz's mind, Democrats lost last year because they weren't woke enough. They didn't push hard enough on illegal immigration. I mean, in other words, decriminalizing illegal immigration. And please, nobody stop him. This week on Skywatch TV, we begin a series of programs with new friend Alan DiDio, his new book with a rather compelling title, They Lied to You About the Rapture. Don't miss it. You can watch it right now at skywatchtv.com/channels. That's where you'll find our broadcast schedule posted. You can watch it right now on your schedule. Just add the Skywatch TV channel to Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV. If you've got a smart TV preloaded with Roku or Fire TV, add the Skywatch TV channel to it, and then we'll be there whenever you click the remote. You can watch us on the internet, youtube.com/@Skywatch Television. Subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, hit the like button. And at rumble.com, you'll find us there, rumble.com/Skywatch TV. Also, you can download us to your smartphone or tablet. All of our content right in the palm of your hand, whether you're carrying an iOS, Android, or Amazon Kindle Fire phone or tablet. We've got links to their app stores at our website, skywatchtv.com/app. 5 and 10 is at X at 5_in_10. And please follow us on YouTube at 5 in 10. Subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, hit the like button, and thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.